Would you believe it? The person who is hurting your life right now may not be the enemy you think, but the person closest to you. Today, I will expose 7 types of dangerous people that you need to stay away from before your life falls apart. Especially type 3. I guarantee that when you hear it, you'll be shocked, because these people might be hurting you without you knowing. Don't skip this at all, because every second in this clip will forever change how you view the people around you. If you're ready, let's begin with 7 types of people you need to stay away from if you don't want your life to fall apart. 1. People who habitually lie. Encountering people who habitually lie, even about small things that don't need to be hidden, is a dangerous signal that we should be extremely cautious about, because lying behavior that is deeply rooted as a habit reflects serious problems with honesty and trust. Habitual liars often have hidden motivations. It could be the desire to avoid responsibility, self-preservation, or wanting to gain some benefit without considering others' feelings. They often create stories to make themselves look good, or to get what they want, without caring how their actions affect the feelings or lives of those around them. Trusting these types of people can lead to damage both emotionally and professionally, because when we trust someone, we tend to open up and share personal information, secrets, or even assets with them, which liars might misuse or distort the truth for their own benefit. Moreover, being close to people who like to lie also negatively affects mental health, causing stress, anxiety, and paranoia, because we have to constantly verify the truth of everything we hear from them. When having to interact with people who have a habit of lying, the important thing is to maintain good emotional distance. Don't disclose personal information or important secrets, and must carefully verify information received from them. Recording conversations or keeping evidence of all communications is necessary to prevent distortion of truth later. If you need to work together, there should be witnesses present during important discussions or agreements, and everything should be done in writing. For example, take the case of Jane, a 28-year-old woman who had to work with a colleague who habitually lied. It started with small things, like claiming to have sent emails that were never sent, saying that the boss had assigned work to Jane, when in reality no such assignment existed, until one day this colleague claimed Jane's work as their own in front of important clients, creating misunderstandings and almost causing Jane to lose a promotion opportunity. If Jane hadn't kept detailed evidence of her work and all communications, she might not have been able to prove the truth and protect her reputation. This experience made Jane change her working methods, starting with recording every meeting, sending confirmation emails for conversations and agreements, and regularly reporting work progress directly to her supervisor. Although it seemed like a more complicated way of working, it was a necessary method to protect herself from dishonest people. Learning to deal with people who like to lie is an important skill in work and life. We cannot change other people's habits, but we can protect ourselves by maintaining professionalism, creating clear boundaries, and keeping all evidence systematically. Most importantly, we must not let these people's behavior impact our mental health and work. If you feel the situation is starting to affect you too much, you should consult your supervisor or HR department to find appropriate solutions. In some cases, lying may be a symptom of deeper psychological issues, such as anxiety, emotional instability, or deceptive personality, which requires professional care. But as someone who has to interact with them, we don't need to take on the burden of solving their problems. Our duty is to maintain appropriate boundaries and protect ourselves from potential impacts. Dealing with people who like to lie requires great patience and emotional control, because confronting or challenging them directly often doesn't work and may make the situation worse. Instead of trying to change them, we should focus on developing our communication skills and improving our relationship management. Learn to ask questions subtly, observe inconsistencies in information, and always maintain a professional demeanor. 2. People who deceive others for personal gain. These are extremely dangerous individuals to those around them. They systematically plan and devise strategies to deceive, with clear goals of seeking personal benefits, whether it's about money, professional positions, or other forms of advantages. These people typically have strong persuasive abilities and can quickly build credibility and trust with others. They study their victims' weaknesses and use those weaknesses as opportunities for deception. Trusting such people poses risks that can seriously impact many aspects of life: financial, professional, relationships, and mental health, because they tend to build relationships that appear sincere, but in reality, every action has a hidden agenda. Once they gain trust, they gradually infiltrate our lives, starting with asking for small favors, before gradually expanding into bigger matters, until we find ourselves in a situation that's difficult to escape. When dealing with such people, the most important thing is to maintain distance and stay cautious at all times. No matter how friendly they appear or how much help they offer, we must remember that every action might have hidden motives. We should thoroughly verify all information received, not make important decisions, especially regarding finances or investments, based solely on their advice. And importantly, keep systematic records of all communications and transactions. Take the case of a company employee who was deceived by a colleague into investing in a business claimed to offer high returns. This colleague created the image of a successful businessman, dressed well, spoke intelligently, and frequently shared stories about investment successes. He started by inviting Mai to dinner, building a close relationship, and gradually introducing business opportunities into conversations, claiming to have connections with major investors and inside information that would guarantee profits. Mai began to believe and decided to invest her savings of many years, including persuading family and close friends to invest as well. But after transferring the money, this colleague started making various excuses when questioned about returns, until finally disappearing with all the investment money, leaving Mai to bear the burden of debt and guilt towards those she had convinced to invest. This incident severely impacted Mai's life both financially and mentally. She lost trust in people, developed depression and anxiety. Her relationships with family and friends were affected by the damage that occurred. It took several years to restore her mental health and financial status. Learning from Mai's experience shows that people who deceive for personal gain usually have systematic patterns, starting with building trust, displaying credible appearances, using persuasive speaking techniques, and often referencing success or connections that are hard to verify. They might take months or years, planning and executing their deception, especially when targeting large sums of money. Protecting yourself from such people must start with realizing that no investment or business opportunity offers high returns without risk. You must thoroughly verify information from multiple sources, not make decisions based on emotions or personal trust, and importantly, not be afraid to reject offers that seem too good to be true, even if they come from seemingly trustworthy or close people. Moreover, you must watch for warning signs, such as pressure to make quick decisions, claims of limited opportunities, reluctance to provide clear written information, or attempts to isolate us from people who could give helpful advice. If you notice these signs, you should remove yourself from the situation as quickly as possible, even if it means losing some relationships or opportunities. It's better than losing assets and self-trust permanently. 3. People who create false appearances, acting good in public, but the opposite in private. People who create false appearances are individuals with highly complex behavioral and personality patterns. They put tremendous effort into creating a perfect image in others' eyes, whether it's their dress, speech, or social behavior. Everything is meticulously arranged to make others see them as good people, virtuous, compassionate, and trustworthy. But behind this beautiful facade lies a completely opposite reality. The reasons these people need to create such images may come from various factors, such as emotional insecurity, the need for social acceptance, or the desire to gain certain benefits. They might have grown up in an environment where they had to please others to survive, or may have past experiences that made them believe showing their true selves would lead to rejection or non-acceptance. Image creation thus becomes both a defense mechanism and a method to get what they want. Dealing with such people is extremely challenging. Because they are skilled at creating images and hiding their true selves, we need to observe inconsistencies between their words and actions, and listen to opinions from others who may have had previous experiences with them. The important thing is not to judge quickly based on external appearances, and take time to observe their behavior in various situations. Take the case of Chin, a department manager famous for being kind-hearted, approachable, and helpful to others. He would always dress well, speak eloquently, and consistently show empathy towards his subordinates. At every meeting or social gathering, Chin would be among the first to volunteer help and show concern for others. But when no one was watching, he became a completely different person. Chin would often gossip about his subordinates behind their backs, distort facts to make himself look good, and not hesitate to abuse his authority for personal gain. He liked to create division within the team by giving conflicting information to different people, creating distrust among employees. When problems arose, he would quickly shift responsibility to others. But in front of executives or in meetings, he would play the role of an impeccably caring and responsible manager. Chin's behavior severely impacted the team, causing stress, anxiety, and a toxic work atmosphere. Many people had to resign because they couldn't handle the pressurizing work conditions. But because Chin was skilled at maintaining a good image in front of executives, these problems were never seriously addressed. Trusting people who create false appearances like this can lead to multiple negative consequences. Beyond stress and mental pressure, it can affect your work, reputation, and relationships with others. Because such people won't hesitate to destroy others to maintain their image. They might use information we trusted them with to harm us later, or distort the truth to make us scapegoats when problems arise. Protecting yourself from such people must start with not rushing to believe external appearances. Take time to observe their behavior in various situations, especially when they think no one is watching. Maintain professional relationships. Don't disclose personal information or secrets that could be misused. And importantly, keep systematic records of all communications and work. Additionally, build good relationship networks with other colleagues to exchange useful information and perspectives. But be careful not to get drawn into cycles of gossip or conflict. If you find the situation starting to affect your mental health or work, consult higher management or HR. Present concrete information and evidence, without basing it on emotions or personal feelings. 4. People who claim others' achievements as their own. These individuals often have complex and interesting personality traits. They typically feel insecure about themselves, have a strong need for acceptance from others, and often feel their own achievements or abilities are not sufficient to earn society's recognition. The behavior of claiming others' work becomes their method of filling the void they feel inside, without considering the impact on the true creators of the work. These people usually have good social skills, can persuade others effectively, and have the ability to create credible stories about the successes they claim as their own. They carefully observe and learn the details of the work they want to claim, so they can answer questions or explain details reasonably when someone becomes suspicious. Sometimes they may have actually played a minor role in the work, but claim to be the main responsible person or the initiator of everything. Take the case of Ake, an employee at a company who frequently claimed his colleagues' work as his own. He would start by getting minimally involved in various projects, but when it came time to present to management, he would speak in a way that made everyone believe he was the initiator and main driver of everything, barely mentioning the roles of other team members. Ake had a subtle method. He would observe which team members were working on interesting projects, then try to get minimally involved, such as offering opinions in meetings, sending emails asking about progress, or volunteering to help with unimportant tasks. But when the project succeeded, he would quickly present to management that he was the main driver, using his impressive speaking and presentation skills. This behavior severely impacted team morale. Those who truly dedicated themselves felt discouraged and demoralized. Some even requested transfers or resigned because they felt their efforts weren't recognized. While Ake received promotions and special bonuses from the work he falsely claimed as his own. Dealing with such people requires careful planning and execution. Start by systematically keeping evidence of work at every step. Whether it's emails, meeting minutes, work assignment documents, or progress reports. There should be summary emails sent after every meeting and agreement, clearly stating each person's roles and responsibilities. Additionally, regular progress reports should be made to supervisors, detailing everyone's contributions to the team. If you discover someone claiming credit for work, gather evidence and present it to supervisors formally. Present facts straightforwardly, without using emotions or making accusations without evidence. Working with people who claim others' work requires great caution. We must maintain professional relationships, not disclose important plans or ideas to them before documenting in writing, and should build good relationships with other colleagues to have witnesses to our work. Most importantly, we must not let these people's behavior affect our confidence and self-pride. We must believe in our abilities and worth, and continue working with integrity. Eventually, the truth will come to light, and people who work honestly will gain long-term recognition and trust, while those who claim others' work will eventually be exposed and permanently lose their credibility. 5. People who blame others are individuals who typically lack responsibility for their own actions, lack emotional maturity, and often have insecurities or psychological instability. They tend to avoid confronting their mistakes or shortcomings by constantly trying to shift responsibility to others. This behavior may stem from childhood upbringing where they weren't taught to take responsibility for their actions, or they may have been severely punished for mistakes, leading to a defense mechanism that tries to avoid responsibility in all cases. These people often have an intense fear of criticism or losing face in others' eyes, so they try every possible way to protect themselves by blaming others, sometimes even creating stories or distorting truth to absolve themselves, without considering the impact on those they accuse. This behavior reflects severe selfishness and lack of empathy for others. Take the case of ING, an employee at a company who would always blame coworkers when work mistakes occurred. Even with work she was directly responsible for, she would always find ways to blame others, such as claiming she received incorrect information from colleagues, or claiming others didn't cooperate, causing work delays or errors. During progress meetings, ING would prepare numerous excuses and reasons to lead everyone to believe that any mistakes were others' fault. She would speak in ways that made her coworkers appear inefficient, irresponsible, or uncooperative, making many team members feel uncomfortable and reluctant to work with her. Such behavior seriously impacts the work atmosphere and team relationships. Colleagues become suspicious and distrustful of each other. Some even have to record all communications in writing for self-protection, making work less flexible and reducing efficiency. Dealing with such people requires caution and good preparation. All communications and work assignments should be recorded in writing. Understanding of tasks should be confirmed through emails or meetings, and evidence of all work steps should be kept systematically. For important meetings, notes should be taken and summaries sent to everyone. Additionally, build alliances at work and maintain good relationships with other colleagues, to have witnesses to your work, and people who can verify the truth when unfairly accused. If you find yourself being unfairly blamed, gather evidence and present it to supervisors professionally, without using emotions or aggressive arguments. Working with people who like to blame others is challenging and energy-consuming. We must be careful in communications, not leaving room for them to distort our words or actions. Always maintain professionalism, even when dissatisfied with their behavior, and focus more on getting work done than trying to win or get revenge. Most importantly, don't let these people's behavior affect your confidence and work. Trust in your abilities and integrity, and continue working responsibly. In the long run, People who blame others usually lose credibility and acceptance from colleagues, while those who work responsibly and honestly will ultimately gain recognition and trust from the organization. 6. People who vent their emotions on others often have problems managing their own stress and emotions. They may be facing life pressures from work, family, or personal problems they cannot handle appropriately. This leads them to release their feelings in inappropriate ways, often choosing to vent on those they see as weaker or unable to fight back, such as subordinates, family members, or people who depend on them in various ways. The lack of emotional management skills may stem from childhood upbringing. If they grew up in families that used emotions to solve problems, or never learned appropriate ways to handle stress and anger, they often unconsciously absorb these behaviors. Additionally, accumulated stress from work or daily life, feelings of job insecurity, or untreated mental health issues may make it harder for them to control their emotions. Dealing with people who vent their emotions on others requires understanding and appropriate strategies. We must understand that their emotional venting is not directly related to us, but reflects their own internal problems. Maintaining emotional distance is therefore crucial. We shouldn't take on their negative emotions as our own, or let their behavior affect our mental health. In situations where we must face someone who is venting, we should try to stay calm and not respond emotionally. Responding with emotions will only escalate the situation. Instead of arguing or trying to explain, we should use active listening techniques. Show understanding of their feelings, while maintaining clear boundaries, not letting them overstep or harm our mental well-being. Setting clear boundaries is important in dealing with people who vent their emotions. We must firmly but politely express that their venting behavior is unacceptable and may damage relationships. In work situations, we should document incidents and report to supervisors or HR if the behavior is severe or frequent. Moreover, taking care of our own mental health is equally important. We should have stress-relieving activities, people we can talk to and share feelings with. And if we feel the situation is affecting our mental health too much, we should consult professionals for appropriate management strategies. What people who vent emotions often need is understanding and acceptance. They may feel lonely, misunderstood, or facing problems too heavy to handle alone. Their emotional venting is their way of seeking attention or help. Though inappropriate, understanding their true needs will help us handle situations better. However, understanding doesn't mean we must accept or tolerate their inappropriate behavior. We should show empathy and understanding, while maintaining clear boundaries, and communicate directly about how their venting behavior affects others, helping them recognize the impact of their behavior, and suggesting they seek professional help may be ways to solve problems in the long term. Dealing with people who vent their emotions requires great patience and understanding, but most importantly, maintaining balance between empathy and protecting our own mental health. We cannot help anyone if we let ourselves become victims of emotional violence until our mental health deteriorates. Maintaining clear boundaries, taking care of our mental health, and seeking help when needed are things we shouldn't overlook. 7. People who are quick to anger, easily irritated, and cannot control their emotions. These are often individuals who have problems managing their own feelings. They may be dealing with accumulated stress, life pressures, or mental health issues that haven't been properly addressed. Their inability to control emotions not only affects themselves, but also severely impacts their relationships with others around them, making friends, family, or co-workers feel unsafe and want to keep their distance. Trusting people who cannot control their emotions is a risk that can severely affect our mental health, because we never know when they might explode and how intensely they might react. Being close to emotionally unstable people makes us constantly monitor our words and actions, causing stress and anxiety, sometimes even leading to depression. because we have to deal with their unpredictable emotions. Take the case of Nita, who had a close friend with anger management issues. Her friend would often show irritation, terrible anger, and explode at others over minor things. Like when someone accidentally bumped into him, when he had to wait in line longer than expected, or when someone disagreed with his opinions. Every time they went out together, Nita would feel stressed and worried about unexpected incidents, until she started avoiding meeting this friend. Although Nita tried talking and giving advice many times, her friend would deny that he had any problems controlling his emotions, and viewed it as normal for people to express their feelings as they felt them. The situation worsened when her friend started blaming others for making him angry, and refused to listen to anyone else's opinions or feelings. Finally, Nita decided to distance herself and end the friendship, because she felt this relationship was too damaging to her mental health. This decision made her friend reflect on himself, and begin to realize that his inability to control his emotions was severely affecting his relationships with others. Nita's friend began seeking help from mental health professionals, entering therapy to learn how to manage his emotions, practicing stress relief techniques, and developing appropriate communication skills. He started to understand that his anger and irritability stemmed from accumulated stress and unresolved past issues. After continuous therapy and self-development, Nita's friend became much better at controlling his emotions. He learned to recognize warning signs when he started feeling irritated, and knew how to use various techniques to manage his feelings before they exploded. He came back to apologize to Nita and others who had been affected by his past behavior. Seeing the serious and continuous changes, Nita began to give her friend another chance. They slowly rebuilt their relationship carefully, having open discussions about boundaries and expectations in their relationship. Her friend learned to listen more to others' feelings, and tried to take responsibility for his actions. This change didn't happen quickly, but was a process that required time and continuous effort. Sometimes Nita's friend still had periods when he couldn't control his emotions well. But what was different was that he could recognize it faster, and tried to manage situations before they escalated. Moreover, he learned to apologize and take responsibility when he made mistakes. Currently, Nita and her friend have managed to become good friends again. Though their relationship isn't exactly the same as before, it has become one with more understanding and mutual respect. Their story shows that change is possible if a person accepts their problems and has genuine intention to improve themselves. Finally, if you like this kind of good content, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel. For today, goodbye.